Hi, it is the Human Operating System time. So this channel is for educations and technology only. Today I'd like to share with you something extremely critical for those who want to do research, want to study, want to seriously know what happened with Wing Chun or traditional Chinese martial arts. Now, I got these inspirations to share with you today because in the past few days, after I share on the educations to clean up the mess in Wing Chun and the clean out the internal and chi issue of Wing Chun with scientific sport science, I received many messages and discussions with many Wing Chun friends. And it always come up that somebody say that I believe Wing Chun is a concept of Wing Chun. And Wing Chun is not a style. So different people have all different concepts. And then they will be saying that this is the interpretations based on this Grandmaster. And then in the discussions, even it exists that one guy will, based on their view, to say that the other guy is wrong or that is bad, blah, blah, blah. So I like to share with you today to put all this to rest once for all, because Wing Chun really, as a Chinese culture, cannot afford all this kind of stuff. The mess has been really deep for past 60 years or so. Okay? Like in one of the conversations on this Wing Chun, and then they say, well, Wing Chun straight punch concept. So my question for people when they tell me that is like, do you know what is Wing Chun before you talk about Wing Chun straight punch concept? Do we know what is Wing Chun? Well, straight punch concept. If Wing Chun is a long fist art, then the straight punch concept is a different than if Wing Chun is a short strike art. Now, what is Wing Chun? Well, what is Wing Chun? Now we said that Wing Chun is a short strike. Now, what is the mechanics of short strike? Okay? So we need to get this thing clear up, because this is something which is Chinese culture. It's Chinese culture based. It's nothing come out from the blue. Now, I like to here address too. I am not a spokesman of Wing Chun. I'm not the spokesman of any lineage or any style or any Grandmaster. I am just like the college instructor or lecturer to share with you what happened in the history. Okay? So let's go for what is going on. So right now, in this few decades, it's always that you can see all kinds of Wing Chun concept and theory. Everybody have their own thing, and then when people discuss, they say, well, this is my interpretation, this is based on this Grandmaster, that Grandmaster, all kinds of stuff. Even one Grandmaster can have 10 students, and 10 students have all the different concepts. And then everybody say that that is based on the concept of the creator Wing Chun. Also, it's like this. You get a Grandmaster 1 and Grandmaster 2, and you have many of them. So there will be like this concept 1 from the student 1, concept 2 from the student student 2, and then this Grandmaster have the concept 3 of now this is from his student, and all this thing, and then this concept 1 guy is saying that concept 2 is wrong, and then all this wrong, right, and then keeping grow. It happened that in Wing Chun for past 60 years. But nobody asked, so what is this Grandmaster based on when he said something? What is this Grandmaster concept on when he said something? Well, there's nothing wrong with this Grandmaster have his concept, this Grandmaster has his concept, but what is that based on? I mean, everybody free to have their concept, but what is that based on? Because Wing Chun is a part of Chinese culture. Isn't it so? So when we get into this for 60 years, God knows what it is. Everybody say that, no, I believe it is, this is the way. I believe this is the way. And then using my belief to attack other people's belief. Other people is wrong, I am right. My Grandmaster teach me this. My Grandmaster is more right than you. If we go to seriously, we want the mainstream people, mainstream scholar to buy our thing, then the question is that what is the Grandmaster based on? And even in the Grandmaster level, you often say this Grandmaster stole this from this guy, this Grandmaster stole from this guy. So there's no end. I mean, it just you have an open end. Well, if you look into the real Chinese culture, Chinese martial art history, by evidence, number one, you have 1,000 of years of Chinese culture. And on top of that, it's like one layer of the earth, you have another on the top of it. On top of that is the 1560s, Qi Guang's traditional Chinese martial art reform. It's on top of it. It's just like when we go down, dig down to the earth, we can see layer of it. And all of this is based on a base, and it can be cross-referenced. If somebody today said, well, the 1560 Qi Guang doesn't exist, well, you know what? Go to Japan, go to Korea. You can prove that exists. Okay? And then we know that the 1700 Shaolin short strike exists, which is on top of general Qi Guang. You look at the writing, and then if you go check in for the Chinese martial art, traditional Chinese martial art researcher Tang Hao, he make a research and say, well, whatever present in this Shaolin Short Strike Classic, actually, it is have the trace of the Shaolin of the mid 1600 and so forth. And then in the writing, you can see that it is have the signature of the general Qi Guang. So again, there's you have the based on reference and the cross-reference checking and so forth. And then it comes to this 1850 Shaolin Wing Chun, Shaolin Tao, in the red book, 1850. Well, again, today we look at that, there is a trace of the Shaolin short strike, the Fujian white crane, and then the Mei 12 Zhuang. There is a trace there. That's how it this 1850 Shaolin Tao is designed. And also, it has the trace of the uprising, the Red Boat uprising, which is, we can check it, for example, with our brother, Southern traditional Chinese martial art brother, the Choi Lei Fat style. The Wing Chun at that time, using the salutation like that. This is the moon, this riding the character of the Chinese as moon, and this is the sun. This is thing. And if you look at our Chai Lei Fat friend is doing this. Again, the moon and the sun. That's called Ming. It's called Ming. Ming Dynasty, Ming. So this is the moon, this is the sun. This is the moon, this is the sun. Just for anti the Qing. Okay, so it is layer by layer. It could be cross-reference, and then whatever concept or theory today, we need to base on this thing. It's not like you come from here out of the blue. Well, Hendrik say that. I'm going to start here from Hendrik. Hendrik in Silicon Valley say that. So it is the real Wing Chun. It is a true Wing Chun. And then somebody go expand again. So 50 years later, you say, well, you know what? You start with Hendrik. So it's just like this religion things. Like you trace up to the beginning, and suddenly you have Hendrik exists. And then Hendrik talked to God. But between Hendrik and God, nobody knows what the heck's going on. Well, those are religions. This is all technical stuff, technological stuff. This is all documented. So if we do this kind of stuff, somebody is going to study it and say, hey, how come is that between Hendrik and God there's a void there? Will other people be able to trace this thing up? So, you have a concept of and theory of Wing Chun here based on come from nowhere, but from somebody, like from Hendrik. Over here, you have a concept and theory based on layers of reference, and you can cross-reference, cross-check from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, like we can cross-check from here to here. Well, this is the reality. So when people say, like this few days, people say, well, Hendrik, you're just starting a new lineage. I said, I don't start a new lineage. I start an education. All these books is to present all those different layers. What are they? And then when we get to 2020 here, well, we get sports science in to verify again, cross-reference, cross-check. So it got nothing to do with me. I'm just the guy who like in the college which present. This is what happened, this is what happened, this is what happened. And then we all can cross-check it, cross-reference and everything. This is education, there's technology, there's culture. What this is not. This is a belief, it's like religion. Between Hendrik and God, there is a void. So someday God tell Hendrik, God who have a million-year-old somehow end up in the 2020 tell Hendrik, and Hendrik get enlightenment, and then right away he know what is God talking about, and then that is what it is. That's what Wing Chun is. Well, that is religions. That's not what I'm getting into. This is what I'm getting into. We are living in a democratic world. We are living in a very high civilized world. You look at all the Japanese history, the Korean history, didn't they have all this thing? So, this is what I like to share with everybody. If we want to, everybody these days say, I want to preserve Wing Chun. Well, if we want to preserve Wing Chun, we preserve it this way. Not based on me. I add some Tai Chi, I will say that there's an internal Wing Chun. I have this mind power stuff, idea, then I say there's an internal Wing Chun. Well, if you want to talk about mindfulness, mind power, Qi and everything, can you cross-reference down here? With something down here? If not, can I just go over here, create my own like that, and then call it This is the top secret of the Xiu Lim Tao or Wing Chun. Well, there's disaster. So when all this disaster going through, flying around for decades, when Xi Xiaodong come up saying that, oh, you know, Wing Chun is just a girly art, you slap around like that and everybody laugh. Nobody can say a thing. Why? Because nobody know what the heck is going on. You know, the Chinese keeping saying this. The Chinese, if you read the Chinese history, in the invasions of Nanjing, the Japanese soldier, okay, watch out, Japanese soldier, it doesn't mean that all Japanese, okay? In all race, all country, there are good people and bad people. So, the Chinese say the Japanese soldier killed so many people, slaughtered so many people, the Chinese, innocent people. Or what you can see that the rape of Nanjing. While a part of the Japanese, even up to today, denying it. Okay, so the Chinese brought out all this evidence and photos and so forth. Okay, that's how it's supposed to be. If we want to talk about Wing Chun, we brought out all these photos. We can talk rationally. We can know what is the strength, what is the weakness, what is what. Is it okay that tomorrow somebody start a new Wing Chun lineage? Sure. As soon as you base on this, it is legit. Nobody can say anything because it's based on this thing. Evidence, cross-reference. So, you know, like the Chinese keeping saying, you know, a part of the Japanese is actually trying to change history, distorted the history. The Japanese army, when invasion in Nanjing, the rape of Nanjing, really could kill a lot of people. But while the Japanese say, no, this not, blah, blah, blah. The Chinese say, well, this is the evidence. So, the reason I brought this up is this, right? We cannot have a double standard. We cannot say, you know, when there's the invasions from the Japan, then we have all this thing, all this evidence. But because of us, as soon as we like, we can screw everything we want on our culture. When it's about my Wing Chun, your Wing Chun, we can do anything we want, ignoring all this thing. But when the Japanese do, the Japanese army do something wrong, then we say, well, you see, all this is the evidence. So it's like a double standard. One way is like you try to prove it with evidence. Another way is, as I like it, I can do anything I like. I can make a movie, and then the entire world believe on me, then I'm the guy. I can wash my image with a movie. Well, movie is movie, right? But movie today is media. And really, if we keeping doing this, not you, me too, if we, any one of us keeping doing this, we're damaging the Chinese culture. We're damaging the Wing Chun. We like it or not, we are doing that. So again, as what I say, I'm not the spokesman of Wing Chun. I'm not the spokesman of God. I'm not the spokesman of the Chinese culture. But this is what happened in the history. Can be cross-referenced and can be tracked. How long do you think we can cheat other people if we don't have all of this thing? What do you think the next generation will be if we have all this mess without this thing? We just be able to cross-reference. How will be the next generations know what the heck it is. So over here, you can see more and more today, it become Wing Chun is a concept and theory. Everybody have their concept and theory, and yet they have no idea what the Chinese culture is about. They have no idea what is the traditional Chinese martial art is based on. And they have no idea what is Qi is about. It's always, I say, you know, if you talk about Qi, Qi is from Wuji, Wuji is from Taiji, Taiji is from Bagua, Bagua is from this and that, and this from Dao. But what is Qi? I don't know. There's the answer. Or my grandmaster tell me this. So this is a really serious cultural issue now. You get to that. See, on the entire thing, we don't talk about who is the number one fighter, who is not authentic, and so forth, so forth. We just saying that this thing exists. We need to cross-reference. And the second thing is, let's walk our talk. You don't go tell the Japanese, hey, you know, you change the history. The history that is that you guys raped the Nanjing, your soldiers raped the Nanjing. This is the evidence. But when it comes to our own Wing Chun art, we just create anything and call it whatever we want. That's called double standard. And that kind of thing is going to screw the entire thing up. So, the Grandmaster, the teacher, the whatever, cannot replace this thing. If one doesn't have this thing, what is the Grandmaster come from? What is it based from? Today, entire world, you see so many Grandmaster, you know, not only in Wing Chun, in different art and so forth, so forth. Grandmaster of what? Do you understand this? Do you know what it is? Well, if the college have a class like this, in one semester, the college student will know more than those Grandmaster. How do you think that is going to be going to look like? Is it looking bad or looking real good? This is a moving forward and keeping growing world. So I brought this up. Sure, you know, people might not like me and all this kind of stuff. But if we don't brought this up, you know what it will end up. And one will never get respect from the mainstream scholar, scientist, historian. It's like if you just go interview the guy with this concept, go around, and then you say, well, you know, I'm researching Wing Chun. What the heck are you talking about? Unless you have this solid, we don't even know what is traditional Chinese culture. We don't even know what is a short strike, what is a long fist. We have no idea. So how is that? Just go around to different teachers, asking about different concept, and then you go around the world once, and then you come back, you are a researcher, you are a grandmaster. How can that be? That's why, you know, when I was young, let me tell you this. When I was young, parents do not want us young kids to study Kung Fu. Especially for the rich family. They send their kids to study tennis, playing golf, but not playing Kung Fu. Why? Because until we get this up, nobody is going to take you serious. And then when I was grew up, you don't practice Kung Fu. You better go practice karate or judo, because judo is in Olympic, but not Kung Fu, because we don't know what is Kung Fu is about. Kung Fu is always asking people, this guy fighting that guy. When I was growing up, there is the image of Kung Fu. So the rich guy, the rich kid will never be with the people like if we practice Kung Fu. And we sneak away, you know, like we get sent out from to other country to go to school, then we go practice Kung Fu in hidden, the parents doesn't know. But in fact, if you look at it today, there is very rich culture, there is very rich technology here. So this is 2020. I know what I'm saying today, many will not like it. And that's free for them. They have the free will to go all directions, or, you know, based on their personal like and dislike. However, I run this thing like a university. You want to pass the mainstream researcher, mainstream scientist, mainstream scholar, better watch out. But bottom line is this. You say you are a Wing Chun Sifu. You practice Wing Chun for how many years? Say 10 years, okay? I usually tell people like this. You work hard, you train in Wing Chun for 10 years. Well, in the university, if you work hard, you train it for 10 years, you get a PhD, a doctorate degree on your field. Now, you train traditional Chinese martial art for 10 years, and the other PhD doctor degrees spend 10 years there too, thousands of hours. When you sit together, people is going to respect that the guy who have the college PhD degree but not respecting you, and don't even take you serious. As you know, in front people won't say it, but inside there they won't take you serious. You like that? Can we accept that? Or we just go from here, going up, and we can make all Wing Chun Sifu an Asia art PhD, because they know all of this. They know all this history and so forth, details of Chinese culture and how the martial art evolved and so forth. Well, those are legit mainstream scholar. Not just I translating Google translate with Google, or just translate books, which we have no idea what it is. You think about it. If a Wing Chun teacher know all of this, not just translate but have the experience, understand every details, won't those type of quality be respected like a person who study in a university who get the doctor degree or the master degree, right? So these things will let Wing Chun traditional Chinese martial art go to the mainstream, accepted value in mainstream. This thing, you know it's going to turn into religion. Because at the end of the line is, Hendrik is my Sifu told me so. Over here is, you don't have to say Hendrik is my Sifu, even if it is my student. No, not to mention, I don't have that. You just say based on this, based on this, based on this, based on this, cross-reference, this is what it is. Like when we are in a university, we don't say, Professor Brockman tell me this, Professor Nielsen tell me this. We don't say that, we just say, okay, per this cross-reference, this is what it is. Per this paper, this is what it is. Clean and really solid. So this is to share with you today. And I know it probably shocked a lot of people. And as what I mentioned in the beginning, I'm not represent anybody. I do not represent my any lineage which is the most superior. No, We're talking about educations. We're talking about everybody will benefit. So the guy who is here, you know what? It is simple to fix this. You can say that this Grandmaster is using this, is based on this, based on this, based on this. This Grandmaster is based on this, based on this, based on this, based on this. Close case. You don't say, hey, fight me. My Grandmaster know more than you. I can beat you. You don't say that. You just say, okay, my Grandmaster is based on this, based on this, based on this. Just Chinese culture. Issue close. Clear. Solid. So I'm saying that this is not to put down any lineage. I'm just saying this we need to have this kinds of education structure to keep everybody solid. It's not about putting people down, you just talk bad about people. It's not. Once you adapt to this system, you're solid. And who is God anyway? Who is know everything anyway? Who is perfect anyway? None. It is like in the university, who is perfect? But nobody in the university debate, argue, and get into the fight because of somebody need to be perfect, right? People screw up. Writing papers screw up, and then they have to review it, redo it, and so forth. This is life. Live in this real world, not living in the religion world, which is, it is not this world. It is a religion world. Religious people can go believe whatever they like. Okay, this is their freedom. But when you have to deal with this real world, it is another story. So this is to share with you today.